Fall in full effect in the state of Michigan, the state tournament in football kicking off. Several division rivalries determining who survives and advances. Blistering boys soccer regionals and outstanding performances in cross country and volleyball. This is the original high school sports show, State Champs showing out, just like we have for nearly 20 years. Bring it! Hi, and welcome inside the State Champs Studios, Michigan. This is your home for highlights. I'm your host, Lauren Plant. State Champs High School Sports Show is presented by Lawrence Technological University. If you're a fan, you know I've talked about what a great university LTU is for years. Small class sizes, professors who actually work in the fields they teach, talking hands-on learning and internship opportunities and connections all over the state. But the sports program is thriving more than ever. They want you to be a part of it. New sports like women's hockey, competitive dance, men's volleyball, men's and women's track and field, football, basketball, many others. Recruit yourself at ltuathletics.com. You can be a college athlete. I also want to shout out the Michigan High School Athletic Association, Hungry Howies, and the Michigan Army National Guard. Showtime, let's go.
I'm Greg Molson in Heartland for a playoff opener between KLAA West rivals Heartland and Howell. The Highlanders won their first meeting earlier this season, but it's the Eagles scoring first in the rematch. From the 46, Holden D'Arcy hits Joey Mattard. He has open space down the sideline, then cuts it back inside and takes it into the end zone, giving Heartland an early 6-0 lead. Howell answers on defense. D'Arcy fumbles. Danny Honkala scoops it up and takes it back the other way, tying it up at 6-all. Heartland would take the lead back with a field goal, but it's Howell with one final play in the first half from the 30. And watch this. Nolan Petru rolls right, lets it fly right into the hands of Ashton Hill. Highlanders take a 13-9 lead into halftime. That was it until the fourth. Howell knocking on the door again, but Petru loses the ball on the 1-yard line, recovered by Aiden Martino. But the Highlanders make up for that on the very next play, putting the pressure on D'Arcy, who throws it away. That's intentional grounding for a safety, pushing Howell's lead up to 15-9. D'Arcy and the Eagles fight back though, and with 3.5 minutes to play, it's the quarterback with the touchdown. The extra point gives Heartland the lead at 16-15. The Eagles then have a chance to seal the victory on 4th and 1 with under 2 minutes to play, but the Highlanders force another fumble recovered by Honkala again, giving Howell one final chance to go 62 yards with 1:46 to play. On 4th and 13, it's Honkala making the big play on offense, picking up the first down from Petru. Petru then makes another huge pass, hitting a wide-open Jackson Kovarik for the game-winning touchdown with just 22 seconds to play. Howell wins a thriller, 21-16, moving on to play again.
It was crazy. I mean, I'm so proud of our team. We kept fighting. We were down, out, kept fighting. It was just the best moment of my life, honestly.
It's amazing. I've never been this happy over a football game before. It's the best feeling I could have asked for. I love it.
Guess what, man? This don't happen very often. This takes hard work. This takes dedication. This takes a lot of guys buying in, man. And that's what we did. That's who we are. So proud of you guys, man. What a game, baby! Yeah! Yeah!
I'm Lauren Plant, and this is a Division I football district quarterfinal matchup. Two KLAA teams squaring off as Belleville at home to take on the Plymouth Wildcats. Tigers, led by the state champs Mr. Football candidate Christian Dew-Reed, needed 4 touchdowns to tie the MHSAA career touchdown record. Would he do it? Tigers coming into the playoffs averaging 54 points a game, pick things up first quarter. The senior Daryl Johnson gets the punt return deep in his own territory, darts down the sideline, and he has reservations for 6. 93-yard touchdown, Belleville up 6. More from the Tigers in the opening quarter. This is the junior Deshaun Lee getting the handoff, and he gone. 55 yards, untouched for the score. That increased the Belleville lead to 13 after 1. The high-octane Tigers offense seemingly unstoppable. Do read the shovel pass to the Purdue-bound Deion Burks. He races upfield for the 45-yard touchdown. That put Belleville up 20. The 4-year starter, Do Reed, doing his thing. Here, the bomb and into the arms of the junior Rashad Wilson. This was a 63-yard score. Tigers up 28 as we headed into halftime. All Belleville in the second half. Do Reed with the quick strike to Cortez Gibbs, 11-yard touchdown. Then, later in the third, it's Do Reed once again going deep, finding Maurice Hitchcock. This 50-yard touchdown ties the state record for Christian Do Reed with 124 career touchdown passes. Belleville beats Plymouth 47-3. Tigers will face Northville in the D1 District Semis.
I'm Kevin Trzynski, and we go to Northville for this Division I regional semifinals matchup between Warren De La Salle and Detroit Catholic Central. The Catholic League Central clash in the MHSAA playoffs. Two of the top soccer programs in the state battle with the wet and cold conditions, along with the flight on the field. The Pilots of De La Salle would set the tone as they came out flying just minutes into the contest. Spencer LeBeau gets this one over to Craig Fritz, and Fritz works the ball to the net. The shot deflected off the CC defender, and it trickles into the net, and Pilots get up on the board and lead 1-0. About 6 minutes later, Catholic Central in trouble. Down a man after being shown a red card, and the Pilots would take advantage with the extra man on the field. Fritz would be denied by the CC keeper, but the second effort by Jonathan Hepler gets through and hits the back of the net, putting De La Salle up 2-0 at halftime. Second half action now with 22 minutes left up on the clock. The Shamrocks have a tough battle ahead of them, and they have a chance to cut into the lead off the free kick. Jack Luker's rocket shot gets through everyone and hits the twine. Catholic Central battling back down just a penny. Now with just under 5 minutes to go, and the Shamrocks again awarded a free kick, this time from distance. Jack Luker with the honors. The long boot will be punched away by the Pilots keeper, but there's a fight for the ball in the box. Ali Jafer, right place, right time. The Catholic Central sophomore ties this game up at 2-2 after the Shamrocks played the majority of this game with one less player on the field. To extra time we go, and sometimes the ball bounces in funny ways as it did all game long. The Shamrock sophomore Ali Jafer is at the right place at the right time again. A light tap off his left foot seals the comeback victory for Catholic Central as they defeat De La Salle in overtime. 3-2 your final score.
I'm Greg Molson at Clintonwood Park in Clarkston for the Division I cross-country regionals. The boys were up first. At the 1 mile mark, it was Joe Kaka from Birmingham Brother Rice out front, but with a large group close behind. Just past the halfway point of the 5,000 meters, Oxford's Zach Patterson had moved in front, followed closely by Clarkston's Andrew Sesti and Milford's Kazuma Bowring. And as they reached the finish line, it was Bowring out in front, winning in a time of 15:53, followed closely by Lake Orion's Nicholas Laurent and Clarkston's Andrew Sesti.
I kind of waited a little too long to start pushing it fully to my kick, but it still worked out. Don't think my coach would be happy about that, but it was still a great race. Glad with the outcome.
Bowring's coach had plenty to be happy about as Milford had 4 of the top 11 finishers, with the next 3 all setting personal records, giving the Mavericks the regional title, followed by Rochester Adams and Lake Orion, who also qualified for the state meet.
This is why we do it, you know what I mean? And I'm really proud of the guys and really happy for them. We didn't qualify for the state finals last year, and that's something we had to own and we had to live up to. And so we're excited to go back to the state finals. We're excited to run with that Milford uniform one more time for the seniors.
The girls were up next, and the story of their race was Birmingham Seaholm's Audrey D'Adamio going for her third straight regional championship, and she'd pull away early, already building a nice lead just before the mile mark. And by the halfway point, she was 30 seconds in front of second place Chloe Wall of Waterford Kettering. And D'Adamio cruised to the win in 17:22, 54 seconds faster than second place Wall. D'Adamio gets her three-peat.
The best I've ever run here, so it's good. This course I have my ups and downs with this course, but it was nice to end with my best finish yet.
In the team race, Clarkston was led by Alexandra Brigham, who finished in fourth. She was the first of 4 Wolves in the top 13 as the host team wins the regional title, followed by Walled Lake Northern and Rochester Adams as the other state qualifiers.
Lawrence Technological University understands the importance of visiting a campus before enrolling in your college career. Here in 2020, LTU is offering the next best thing. 2 virtual open houses with tons of ways for you to investigate everything this nationally recognized university has to offer. Simply known as Blue Devil Days, you can explore their renowned academic programs in architecture, design, engineering, technology, science, and business. There's also an opportunity to hear about the admissions process and an overview of financial aid. You'll end the day with a student panel able to speak to current LTU students specifically about their college experience. The virtual Blue Devil Days are Saturday, November 14th and Saturday, December 12th, so be sure to RSVP today before space runs out. Just head over to upcoming.ltu.edu, click on Events and Tours, and then click on Virtual Events. The next 4 years are going to be the most important of your life. Do yourself a service and check out Lawrence Technological University.
I'm Ryan Slocum. The defending Division I state champion Davison Cardinals began their quest to get back to Ford Field, taking on their rivals from Lapeer for the second week in a row. The Cards pounded the Lightning 37-6 a week ago, and this was more of the same. Opening possession, Brendan Sullivan calls his own number. Number 6 takes it 60 yards, 4-6. Davison with a 6-0 lead, and Sully with a message for the Lightning. But the only ones going to the house were the Cardinals. Next possession, Carter Kreiderman coming right at you for the 7-yard touch. Davison goes up 13-0. Then in the second, the Northwestern commit turns and finds a wide open Harrison Unger. That puts Davison up 20-0. And they were far from finished. This time, the Mr. Football candidate flips it to Kreiderman on a little misdirection. And speaking of flip, Mr. Carter up and over for the 28-yard score. The Bird Gang up 26-0 with 2 minutes to play in the half. Just enough time for the defense to get in on the act. Lapeer just trying to run out the clock, but the ball pops loose right into the hands of William Watkins, and Double Dub takes it back to the crib as time expires. Sullivan was 12 of 15 for 202 yards and 2 TDs. He also ran for $106 and another tutty. Davison rolls 47-6, setting up a second-round matchup against Rochester Adams next week.
It felt really good, yeah, but it's a whole team effort. The O-line did their job, receivers did their job, and it was a fun game getting a playoff win against your rival. Yeah, it's a lot different. And, everybody kind of wrote us off last year, but this year it's more, targets on our back, and everybody's coming to give us, and we're getting everybody's best game.
We play a really, really good Rochester Adams teams this next week that that poses a big threat. You know, seeing the option, which we haven't seen all year, is going to be a task in itself just to get our guys, you know, prepared for. But it's going to be nice to play another opponent.
I'm Kevin Trzynski reporting from Livonia. A couple of 3-3 teams going at it in the first round of the playoffs. The Bedford Kicking Mules and first-year head coach John Phillips ready to face Livonia Franklin. The Patriots looking to get back to the finals for the first time since 2017, where they finished runner-up to Warren de La Salle. Livonia Franklin started this game right off the kickoff. Connor Hatfield picks up the rolling ball, and the senior slices and dices his way down the field as he reaches pay dirt on the 85-yard score. And the Patriots up on the board first, 7-zip. However, Bedford eating up time and driving down the field on their first possession, and the Kicking Mules just inches away from the end zone. Junior running back Gabe Johnson up the gut and into the end zone as Bedford ties this baby up 7 apiece at the end of the first. Second quarter action now, and Franklin has a stud under center in junior Zach Olesic. He can run the ball well, but tonight his passing game was on point. The quick release to the man who opened up the scoring in this game, Connor Hatfield, will not be stopped. 45 yards to the house as the junior tacks on his second TD on the night. Patriots up 14-7. About 5 minutes left in the half now. They have a lot in the toolbox at Livonia Franklin. This time, it's the sophomore Cordell Mabins with the rock on the ground, and check out this kid go as he does not give up on the 36-yard score. Franklin pulling away up 21-7 at the break. Jumping to the fourth now. Game still 21-7. Junior quarterback Zach Olesic showing off his arm once again, and this time he finds senior Tyler Wisman wide open over the middle. 56 yards, and Livonia Franklin comes out on top over Bedford. 35-14 your final score. The Patriots will face Ypsilanti next week in the district semis.
I'm Jake Vandenberg from the Northeast Michigan area, Division 7, first round districts. Let's take you to Oscoda as the Owls looking for their first ever postseason win at home, but they had to get past St. Louis. The Owls will get their rushing attack going early. Zach Olette takes the handoff and he punches it in from 15 yards out. 140 rushing yards on the night for the senior. Owls up 6-zip, still in the first. Owls threatening in the red zone. Drew Hess takes the snap off the jet sweep, and the senior waltzes his way in for another Oscoda touchdown. Owls widen the gap to 12. Reese Giles would try to get the Sharks back on track, but Anthony Ward delivers a huge hit and coughs up the rock. Gavin Lewick recovers the ball, and he runs with it for 15 yards. That would set up this touchdown run from senior quarterback Owen Franklin. Easy. 20-0 Oscoda. The Owls rushed for 430 yards on offense, and that helped the Owls capture their first ever playoff win on their home field. 54-0 is your final score. They will head to Beaverton next week for a meeting with the Beavers in the district semifinals.
Hey guys, welcome back inside the State Champs Sports Network studios. It's time for another update in our State Champs Mr. Football Award presented by Hungry Howie. Sean Belizean here, and you know, Sean, we were on the verge of making some changes here over the past couple of weeks. We talked about watch those guys. Could not wait any longer. We said there would be a shakeup this week, and there is.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And listen, this is one of the things that you often hear, and some people take it as a cliche, but it rings true here. Trust the process. We have had a tried and tested process for this. We talk about it each and every week, and it's worked out very well for us. So after throwing some names out there and throwing some numbers out there, we couldn't deny two guys any longer. We're going to start in DeWitt. What a fantastic season the Panthers are having. We could not ignore the outstanding junior quarterback, Ty Holtz, any longer. 5'11", 195. Check out these numbers. 1,560 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 1 interception. A 22-to-1 ratio. How do you deny that? Oh, by the way, he also has 256 yards and 2 more scores on the ground. As I mentioned, the Panthers are absolutely rolling right now. They're 6-0. They have outscored their opponents by a margin of 290-50. They are rolling, to put it mildly, and they are led by that junior quarterback, Ty Holtz. So welcome to the list, Ty. Let's go to Livonia. Caden Woodall. Ho-hum, just another game last week. 6 more scores in a win against John Glenn. Now check out these eye-popping numbers. 1,581 yards rushing, 25 touchdowns, and 11.3 yards per carry. Are you kidding me? He's thrown a touchdown. He has 18 tackles, 2 pass deflections, 4 tackles for a loss, a sack, and a safety as well. The Spartans start their run in the playoffs with a rematch against Westland John Glenn. But as you mentioned, Lauren, listen, we could not deny these two any longer. It was pretty easy when you follow our criteria, and that's the good part about this competition. When you have guys that make it easy on you, we all win.
And because of that, a couple of guys had to fall off. So we ran the criteria through our existing top 10 guys. Unfortunately, Walled Lake Western quarterback Zach Trainer and wideout at Goodrich Tyson Davis off the list now. They can still play their way in. Here's what you need to understand. We are not going to freeze this top 10 until we finish district playoffs. That's 3 weeks of playoffs because we only got 6 regular season games, so we felt that was only fair. So what that means is there are other watch list guys. Hey, the King brothers at Cass Tech are playing tremendous football. Rocco Melia at Brother Rice. We heard from a lot of you. He's in the conversation, just not in as of yet. But we've got big games going over the next few weeks. We may see some of our candidates, their team at least, lose. So that is going to affect their status. So a lot of things still can happen. What can you do? You can vote right now at statechampsnetwork.com. It is voting season, right? Well, we want you to get in the habit. Look at the Rocco Spindler contingent out at Clarkston for the Anvil, where voting's been off the hook. Andrel Anthony leading the Mr. Football race here, the fine wideout from East Lansing. They have a bye this week, but you know what? We cannot remove him from the list because he is the leading vote getter. It's that important.
It really is, and you know what? It's fluid. We talk about that all the time, and Lauren, you're talking about playoff games, so what happens? That's that big game competition. So if somebody needed a push, they're going to get that push if they win and continue their season. So stay tuned. It should be very hectic in the next month, and we love every second of it.
And it's very important you vote because when guys are on the bubble, we kind of look and see how the fans have been supporting them. So just know that even if your guy has no chance of winning the vote, it's important that he has a strong fan base there supporting him to keep him in the race. So we'll make the decision after the divisional playoffs. We'll have our Final Four after the state semifinals, and following the state championships, we will crown Mr. Football. That's it for this week. A lot going on.
Hungry Howie's wants to give you one less thing to worry about. Introducing pizza with peace of mind. Every pizza is cooked at least 485 degrees and packaged hands-free. Then delivered right with Howie's no-contact delivery.
Hungry Howie's!
I'm Jeremy Otto, and we head to volleyball now. The 2018 Division I state champs Lake Orion went on the road to take on the Yellow Jackets from Detroit Country Day. Lake Orion coming into the contest at 500 on the season. We picked things up in the first set. Taylor Butkowitz sends it over to Lauren Sterich, and the senior powers it. The Dragons would go on to take set 1, 25-18. Country Day coming into this one ranked 6th in Division II. The junior Serena Niambo just recently committed to the University of Michigan. Here she is sending the keel into the corner. It went back and forth in the second set. After a good rally, it would be the senior Butkowitz who tucks it in, giving Lake Orion a 2-0 lead in the match. Country Day now looking to avoid a sweep on their home court. A pair of sophomores hooking up here as Paige Elliott with the quick feed to Larice Abraham, and the Yellow Jackets take the third by a final of 27-25. To the fourth we go, and it was another back-and-forth tussle. The junior Mandy Kneiper sends this one home for the point. Well, DCD would come right back as Elliott gets it to the junior Nyla Muscovin for the cross-court kill here. The Jackets take the fourth 25-23 as we head to the deciding fifth set. Lake Orion would answer the bell in the final stanza. The junior Piper Talaga's attempt is poked out of play as the Dragons take the fifth 15-8 and the match as well. They'll get ready for the Division I districts to start up next week.
It's going to be about the little things, right? The things that we always talk about. Just do the little things right. Let's come out with high intensity, put them under pressure right away, take our chances, and we're going to get a result out of this, okay?
I'm Ryan Slocum. We go to a Division III boys soccer regional semifinal at Livonia Clarenceville with the defending state champs, Grosse Ile, taking on Ann Arbor Father Gabriel Richard. The Fighting Irish came in at 10-1-2 on the year. They'd get on the board just over 5 minutes in. The junior Chase Gabowicz, right place, right time to bury the rebound. The Irish out to a 1-0 lead. The Irish with another chance just 4 minutes later. Aiden Lenhart gets the feed in front but doesn't get a good foot on it. The Red Devil keeper Hayden Watson there, he covers it up for the save. The second-ranked team in D3 then evens it up off the free kick. It's the sophomore Cannon Kawadri using his dome to put it to the back of the net, and we have a 1-1 game. Then, moments later, the Red Devils strike again. Bosch Tanyi gets to the ball and strikes. Grosse Ile now up a goal, and Tanyi was just getting warmed up. This time, taking it away from the Irish defender, he sends home his second goal of the game. That puts Grosse Ile up a pair. Then, with 4 minutes to play in the opening half, the Red Devils keeping on the offensive pressure. Fight for the ball in front, and it's the senior, Zach Bast, getting his name on the score sheet. Grosse Ile goes into halftime leading 4-1, and they would continue that attack in the second. It's who else? Tanyi, once again, the senior, nets the hat trick. He now has 45 goals on the season, and Grosse Ile advances to the Division III regional final, beating Ann Arbor Father Gabriel Richard by the final of 5-1.
I'm Zach Herrick from the West Michigan area. An OK Red rematch in the Division II District Opener. Caledonia, the 7 seed, coming in at 2-4 on the season at 5-1 Jenison. And Caledonia would pull out some trickeration on the second play from scrimmage. The reverse pass deep finds Caleb Sprague, good for a gain of 34 yards. And just a few plays later, it's Carson Vanderhoff, the All-State running back, finds the hole, goes 40 yards to pay dirt. He would have a big game in this one, 7-0 Scots. It would be 14-0 Caledonia in the second quarter, but Jenison would get going. Jaden Van Dalsen finds fellow senior Alex Schmidt. He breaks a tackle and scores from 26 yards out. That would make it 14-7 Caledonia. But just before the half, the handoff goes to Vanderhoff. He gets in from 3 yards out. The Scots would lead it 21-7 heading into intermission. And both defenses would step up in the second half, except for here. The Wildcats throw on play action. Van Dalsen finds guess who? Yes, Alex Schmidt again. Their second score of the game. Jenison cuts the deficit to 21-14. But it would remain that way until the final play of the game. 1 second left. A prayer for Jenison would go unanswered. The ball falls incomplete. In the 7 seed, Caledonia pulls it off. Head coach Tom Burrell announced he would be retiring after this season. Well, he gets at least one more week with his team. 21-14 is the final. The Scots will now travel to 6 seed Lowell after they knocked off 3 seed Byron Center. Heavy hearts for the entire Hopkins community and head coach Cody Francis after the passing of his father and longtime assistant coach Mick Francis, who lost his battle with cancer on Thursday night. The Vikings hosting Belding, playing this game for him. To the game action, the Vikings start out hot. It's Colin Weber taking the handoff. He gets to the edge, dives for the pylon, and scores. It would be 6-0 Hopkins after the conversion was no good. Later, it's 12-0 Vikings, but Belding answers. On 4th down, it's Ethan Hodges scoring from 3 yards out. That would cut the deficit to 12-6, two-point conversion, also no good. But at the end of the half, Hopkins with a 4th and 15. Trevor Smith throws it up for Colin Weber, who gets a foot in with the grab. Smith would then punch it in. One play later, it's 18-12 Vikings at the half. But it would be all Belding after that. In the third, the handoff to Hodges, who gets in from 3 yards out. Belding takes the 26-18 lead. And if you couldn't tell already, Hodges was excellent for the Black Knights, especially in the second half. He puts the game on ice here with a 40-yard score. Belding wins it on the road, 32-18. The Black Knights avenge the earlier season loss to the OK Silver foe as they get set to play at Grand Rapids Catholic Central in round 2.
I'm Lauren Plant, and we go to a Division II district quarterfinal. Two Macomb area conference teams squaring off. St. Clair Shores Lakeview at home to take on the Huskies from Port Huron Northern. Lakeview came into the postseason at 4-2. First quarter action, junior quarterback Tristan Witt on the keeper. The Huskies now inside the Port Huron Northern red zone. Few plays later, Huskies William Bell ringing the bell. 7-yard touchdown. Lakeview led 7-0 after the opening quarter. Huskies driving for another score in the second, but the ball pops loose. Northern's Dylan Richards with the recovery. Still a 7-zip game as we headed into halftime. The difference in this one was Lakeview controlling the time of possession. Witt once again working his way for another first down deep in Northern territory. That led to a 25-yard field goal. Huskies went into the fourth leading by 10. They would add insurance in the final stanza from who else? Witt. In from 2 yards out. St. Clair Shores Lakeview shuts out Port Huron Northern 17-0. They'll host Warren De La Salle in the D2 District semifinal next Friday night.
We hit the feeling all day long, all night long, on offense.
I'm Ryan Slocum. We go downriver for a Division III matchup with Allen Park at home taking on the Trenton Trojans. This just the third time they've met each other in the playoffs. We pick it up with no score late in the second. Allen Park going for it on 4th down. Ethan Bogg fighting his way for the first down inside the Trenton red zone. The Jaguars in hurry-up mode with only 20 seconds to play in the half. The ball goes back to Bogg, and this time he takes it in for the 9-yard touch. Allen Park led it 6-0 at the break. AP marched right down the field to start the second half. Thomas David Jr. gets the handoff on the sweep, and he scores from 5 yards out. 2-point conversion try, no good, so the lead was 12-0 as we head to the fourth. The 3-3 Trojans were on the move in the final stanza. Ty Norgren connects with Joseph Sarnecki to the Allen Park 2-yard line. One play later, the senior, stone-cold Austin Stevens punches it in for the touchdown. Trenton cutting the deficit to 12-7. But Allen Park would have too many answers on this night. Here's the junior, Saniro Hamilton, working his way down to the 2. That would lead to a QB sneak by fellow junior Ethan Gajewski a couple of plays later. That's good for the touchdown. Allen Park goes on to beat Trenton. 18-7 is the final. They'll face New Boston Huron next week in the Division III District semifinal.
It has been a long time,
but we are so happy to be back.
Playing the games we love with all of our friends.
And we want to take a minute to say thank you.
Thanks to our parents for being there for us during these difficult times.
Thanks to our coaches for their time and flexibility.
Thank you to the athletic directors for keeping us safe and organized.
Thanks to the officials for returning to the game with us.
Thanks to MHSAA for being supportive and fighting for this opportunity.
We don't want to lose this opportunity that's been given to us.
So stay safe so we can continue to play.
We are pumped to see all of our competitors in the field.
And on the court.
and in the pool.
and on the course at MHSAA tournaments in the coming weeks.
So athletes, let's play hard, play safe, and have fun.
Hey guys, welcome back inside the studio. It's time for another update in our State Champs Anvil Award competition. My name is Lauren Plants. We've got the Hall of Fame coach Tim Beckler here. We've been doing this all season long. The Anvil Award recognizes the top linebacker and lineman in the state. We run a top 10 competition all season long. We narrow it down to a Final Four, and then we choose our champion. What we wanted to do today is kind of just talk about the guys who right now are leading the competition. Guys who, if we had to lay a vote right now, would definitely be considered for the Anvil Award. Now, Tim's going to get there, and we definitely are not disparaging anyone who is still in our competition. We got a long way to go. We're not going to freeze our top 10 until after the district playoffs, so that's 3 more weeks. So a lot can happen during then and now, but we just wanted to give you guys and let Tim talk about some of those who are leading the way as of right now.
Right, we've got some front runners. Now, we love everybody we've been talking about, and you guys certainly are not out of it. So the big thing, keep updating your huddle highlights so we can keep looking at those, because that's really all I have. We can't go to all the games, so please continue to update them.
And you're going to talk about stats right here off the top, and it's important, those are being fed to us from individuals within their organization. So if you guys have numbers for these guys, we certainly want to see them, and that complements what we're looking at when we're checking out huddle videos and the like.
Going into this week, this is what I was thinking: player performance, level of competition, and team success. I love everybody we've talked about. Everybody we've talked about is a great player. So you're not out of it. You know, guys like Dellinger, El Hadi, Thompson, keep updating those videos. You are not out of it yet. The first man I'd like to talk about is Rocco Spindler from Clarkston. Now, he has updated stats for us. The one that jumps off on defense, now he's a defensive tackle, 38 tackles through 6 games. That's a lot of tackles. Offensively, 0 sacks in his entire career. That's pretty impressive. Let's face it, Clarkston is playing great. He's on offense, he's a dominant run blocker. They're pulling him more this year from his left tackle position. He's getting to the second level. He's doing damage and getting to linebackers. And when you line up over him, he's just mauling people. On defense, his first 2 steps are so quick. He has a great takeoff off the line of scrimmage, and his hands are unbelievable. He is so strong and so quick. He hits, sheds, and he is pursuing, and he's just making great plays. And I just love his enthusiasm. And your team feeds off of that enthusiasm.
And I would say, too, do you think because he is projected to be an offensive lineman in college, he knows that Notre Dame's going to want him to play the offensive line? So these are really his last go-arounds being on the other side of the ball, and you could feel that energy when he's playing on the defensive side.
No question. And let's face it, most kids love defense more than they like offense. So he's relishing it. The next young man is Damon Payne from Belleville. I don't have any updated stats. Damon, please update your huddle for us too. I've watched a few clips of you. You look great. I think you're an awesome offensive pass blocker. I'd like to see more run blocking out of you on film. And on defense, he's also got an interception. I saw one of those clips. Super fast for a big man. And an impressive player. And like I said, Belleville is also playing great.
What really I think is a testimony to how well, granted, Belleville's got a bevy of really talented players, but the fact that they've given up so few points and they've scored so many with Damon, who again doesn't come off the field for the most part, it just shows the leadership and the quality of play that he is helping and leading on both sides of the ball of why they're having so much success.
And no question, and any good coach would tell you it all starts up front with these guys, and they're having that success. And my third guy I'd like to talk about is Raheem Anderson from Cass Tech, a center. He's gotten so much better this year. He moves so much better. He looks like he's in a lot better shape. he pancakes guys, and a lot of times centers are guys who are kind of snapping and kind of getting attacked, and then they follow through and adjust after that. He gets off the ball and he is attacking people. And he's getting the linebackers. You know, they combo block. Well, he'll start on a one technique and he'll work up to a linebacker, and he's doing a great job. The other thing I like about him, I call him a shocker. He has a great 3-surface punch. Face mask up, always keep your eyes up, your face up, but his two heels of his hands, his face mask hits, and you just see guys that he hits, they just shock. And from there, that's when he gets underneath them and then takes his feet, leg drive, and he puts people on their back, and he's got a great punch.
Anybody who's had an opportunity to see Cass Tech play, and I've seen both games against King, and oftentimes Raheem is going up against Division I level talent on the other side of the ball. And the way that in playing center, it all revolves around there. It's all about the exchange. He's got a sophomore quarterback in there who had never played varsity football, who is having an outstanding season. Why? Well, he's a good young football player, but also because he has the time, and because Raheem understands the offense so well that guys like the King brothers, when they get the ball, they can beat you, they can pound the rock, or they can stand you up, and Cass Tech's getting it done, and it's another reason why they're one of the favorites to maybe go all the way this year.
Yeah, no question. The other thing about center, that's one position I've never played. I'm sure he's intelligent. Most centers make their line calls and adjustments, especially in pass blocking. But think about this. You've got to snap the ball and then go, whereas everybody else goes. It's a difficult skill, and he's really good.
Guys, let me just throw a warning out to you that, and Coach references, it's important that we do see the film. We can't get to every game. It's certainly hard to break down an entire game in the few days that we have to be able to put this segment together, and also to update the competition. You know, we've got a lot of people to look at. Plus, we are getting feedback from the fans saying, hey, you got to check out this guy, you got to check out this guy. So we're trying to do all of our due diligence. Again, if you take the initiative, whether you are involved in the football program, or maybe you're a parent, or you have so much access to technology and things, and the information to be able to get to us, that's going to help your players' stock in this race. Again, we've got 3 more weeks, and if we simply don't have updates, it's very possible they may fall off the competition and somebody else might move in. Again, the last thing I want to say is it's super important to vote. Yes, Rocco Spindler and the Spindler Nation is killing it in the online vote. I can honestly say he's got a really, really good chance of winning the online vote, which gives him a 20% advantage over everybody else once we get into the Final Four. However, when we're looking at guys on the bubble, and if you don't have any votes or hardly anyone is supporting you, well, you know what? That basically kind of tells us that this is a guy maybe who should come off the list. So just keep that in mind. Certainly send the email, send us the stats, contact us at statechampsnetwork.com is how you do it. Also, you can let us know about guys who still need to get in this competition, because we can still make some changes and get some guys in.
No question.
All right, so that's it. We will give you another update next week. Did you record an unbelievable touchdown, a game-winning goal, or just a proud parent moment? Then we want your clip. Upload your video to the brand new State Champs Network app so we can feature it on one of our shows and give your player, team, and school the recognition they deserve. All it takes is just a few easy clicks, and every clip that is submitted will automatically be eligible for prizes. Download the State Champs Network app today for iPhone and Android devices.
I'm Chuck Pellerito. Let's check out some first-round action in the MAC, a rematch from Week 5. Utica Eisenhower taking on the Chippewa Valley Big Reds. Eagles won at 21-20 last time. Big Reds looking for revenge. We pick things up late in the third with Ike leading 6-0. The freshman Preston Crum wants to add to it. He'll unload a deep ball for Aiden Ives, breaks a tackle, finishes off the 44-yard score. Ives in Wildcat for the 2-point conversion, comes around the right side, makes it in untouched, Eagles up 14. But back come the Big Reds, getting it done on the ground. Daryl Hawkins takes the handoff up the middle, cuts it back towards his own sideline, turns on the gas, and is off to the races. Wins the 56-yard race to the end zone. Chip cuts it to a 14-7 deficit going into the fourth. 4 minutes to go, and Big Red's facing 4th and long. Ryan Schuster finds his favorite target, Cephas Harris, in the flat, and he'll do the rest himself. Shakes an arm tackle, lowers his shoulder, and dives in the end zone. Just like that, we're tied up at 14. Chippewa Valley defense making plays. Isaiah French gets the sack fumble on Crum. Jaquan Richards ends up falling on it. Big Red's in business from the 5. Harris taking it from the backfield this time, forcefully finds the end zone this time, and that would be all Chippewa Valley would need to close this one out and win it 21-14 over Eisenhower. They travel to take on Stony Creek next week.
Let's switch over to Division 8. Alcona taking on Johannesburg Lewiston. Middle of the first quarter, Preston Marlette rolls left, takes a shot down the field, and finds Jason Richter for a Cardinals touchdown. Joburg up 7-zip. Last play of the first quarter. If the defense can't stop the play, then keep doing it. Marlette, the Richter for 6. Marlette threw for 3 touchdowns, and they all went to Richter. Second quarter, Cardinals established the running game. Logan May takes the handoff, and he's going to let his blockers do the work for him. That would go as a 34-yard touchdown. The junior rushed for 80 yards with 2 scores. Joburg rolls past Alcona, winning 49-16. The Cardinals will host Frankfort next week in the district semifinals.
I'm Jeremy Otto, and we go to the Catholic League Volleyball Cardinal Division Championship game at Bishop Foley High School. Macomb Lutheran North taking on the Satellites of Warren Regina. These two teams played to 5 sets a month ago where Regina came out victorious. We picked things up in set 1 following a good rally, and in the far court, the senior Leia Vermillion places it in a perfect spot for the point. Regina ranked number 10 in the latest Division II rankings and was in a battle in the opening set. Reagan Stempen with the quick dish to Sam Clausing, who pounds this one off the blockers. The Satellites would take the first set 28-26. Regina looking to carry that momentum into the second. Following another good rally, it will be the sophomore Olivia Dobbs who says enough is enough, notching another Regina tally. But the Mustangs would respond and take control. The junior Megan Marshall curves it down the line for a kill. The match was tied at 1 apiece now. The Satellites came right back in the third, Stempen with the assist to Jenna O'Brien, and the senior would blast this one home. Regina takes the third set 25-18. Well, we had ourselves a battle in the fourth set as Lutheran North was looking to tie things back up and send it to a deciding 5th set. Kaylee Lathrop sends it to Alexandria Valeni, who secures it with this right-handed swing. Well, Regina looking to seal it now on match point, leading 28-27. It's O'Brien coming through with this game-winning push to the back row, as Warren Regina would go on to claim the Catholic League Cardinal Division Championship.
It was a cold and wet night at Brandon High School for the Division II Regional Final between Imlay City and Bloomfield Hills Cranbrook. I'm Greg Molson with the highlights, and the Cranes came out jumping, dominating play, but they could not find the back of the net until the final 7 minutes of the first half, when Bennett Luckoff finally gets them on the board, and that opened the floodgates. Just 2.5 minutes later, it's Evan Evans with the free kick right off Zach Wittenberg to make it 2-zip. 3 minutes after that, Wittenberg gets another one with just 30 seconds to go in the half, putting Cranbrook up 3-0 at the break. And the Cranes were far from done. Jeff Wren adds another goal from long distance to make it 5-0. Next up, it's Cameron Hanna getting to the rebound to make it 6 goals for the Cranes. The Spartans finally get on the board midway through the second half with some help from the Cranes. It's Daniel Trejo from nearly midfield, goes off the defender into the net, breaking up the shutout. Cranbrook adds one more though on a penalty kick from Bennett Luckoff for his second of the night, and the Cranes win it 7-1, moving on to the D2 semis thanks to a total team effort.
A whole bunch of people were scoring, but tonight it was all about the team. It was a team win. Bench was great. Everyone was engaged. We didn't get complacent, and those last 5 minutes of the first half were really key. So proud of this team. We've come such a long way. We don't want to end. It's all about the team today. The team, the team, the team.
I'll tell you what, this is a team. And when you got a team, that's all 25 of these players each and every day come to play. And that reflected today in every member of this team. Whether they played every minute or whether they're on the sidelines, they impacted this game.
Thank you for watching and listen. Download the State Champs app. If you're at a game, any game, capture a moment that you think is really cool. Send it to us. We can't be everywhere. You can be a State Champs cameraman. We want to share it with everybody, giving you full credit, of course. I can't wait to see what you capture. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. State Champs Michigan's high school sports show is presented by Lawrence Technological University and Lawrence Tech Athletics. For everything LTU, visit ltu.edu. You can recruit yourself to any of Lawrence Tech's 27 collegiate athletic teams by visiting ltuathletics.com. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Army National Guard, a proud partner of the MHSAA. And by Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor.